welcome back. It is Angelic Ray coming to you at Angelic Soul 11. Oh goodness gracious, happy Thursday. Yes, today is Thursday, so we're gonna give it some time for people to come in. I just wanted to do this short video. We'll see how short it is, right? But I just really wanted to get this information into you. Oh, hello, hola, welcome. I am driving, so I may not always look at the screen, but I am getting ready to park soon. So I just really wanted to get this discussion out there because, as many of you may or may not know, I have mentioned in the past about, my diagnosis with bipolar disorder and depression and anxiety, PTSD. And so that sounds like madness, right? And like so much going on there, right? And why it is that I'm able to do what it is that I do and be able to function the way that I function. And so this is what this video is pretty much going to kind of be about. So that way, as these tools have helped me, possibly it can help any of you. I'm getting ready to park, so then I'll be able to see all your comments. But welcome, greetings to you all. Shout out where you are tuning in from. And so again, the reason is so that possibly this video can help some of you or anyone, even if it's just one person, to encourage yourselves to not give up on yourselves. Encourage yourself to really allow yourself to strengthen that mental fortitude, to become a little bit more disciplined with the mind over matter, but still honoring where your mental health is, your physical health, your emotional health, etc. Right? And so for those of you that may have been following me for a long time, you may have gotten used to seeing my face extremely clear and stuff. And like the past couple months has been doing a lot of breakouts, right? So what's been happening is I've been going through a lot of breakthroughs within myself as well. And so the body, right, my cells are catching tantrums, right? My hormones are shifting in a different way because I'm shifting the hormones of the psyche, of the mind, right? And in doing so, my body is starting to catch a tantrum, right? So it's purging things out. And as it's purging out, keeping in mind the food that I am eating, it's showing, right? And when I get to a place, I may have also noticed that I have mentioned many times over in the past that, I don't have a lot of strong addictions that I haven't really beat, but one of them I can say is being an emotional eater, right? And so comfort foods, right? And those comfort foods, you just want those like hugs, right? But what happened was I started eating a lot of processed comfort foods, and I was neglecting my hugs in a cups, my teas, right? I love my teas. I call them hugs in a cups. Hello, greetings to you all. We have Northern California. Norma, welcome. Hello, greetings, sis. Ready to enlighten. Shorty is my sis. Please go follow. Cosmic Shakti, welcome. I see my beautiful soul tribe, Brown Girl Yoga tribe. Ashe, welcome. Leanne, welcome. Thank you all for joining me. So, eating these processed foods and not nurturing and nourishing my body with the proper foods was also creating a higher density in my energetic sphere and my energy. So instead of building up my stamina, I was creating a heaviness to fill me down, right? And of course, let me put you guys on the charger, right? So I really want to get this information out. Hello. I really do want to share this because, a lot of the times people see someone and this person may look, extremely happy. They may look healthy. They're able to walk and stuff, but they don't think about the person's mental health, right? So they just think automatically this person has their shit all together. And social media will have you following someone and making them your guru and everything. And this person might just have a shit ton of fuckery behind them. And this is why I allow for myself to be completely open and honest with you all, even if others are going to judge me. Guess what? That's what I think. That's the finger of Saturn. Let it go and fill your cup the way that it needs to fill your cup, while my cup will be filled with honesty, truth, love, light, righteousness, and runneth over, so that I can provide my true, honest self to you all, right? So if you're going to judge me, that says more about you than it does about me. Anyways, that's part of mental health, is being honest, being in the awareness of where you are. There's times that I have struggled with anxiety, fighting depression, not wanting to get on that yoga mat, not wanting to get out of my bed, not wanting to do the readings, right, that I have to do. And in fact, especially if you have been following me for some time now, you know for a fact that if I am not in the proper energetic space to do a reading, I will reschedule on your ass. Like, I would be like, listen, pardon me, I'm sorry, but the energy is just not right. I'm not going to do that energetic transfer. I will not give my bullshit to you. I will not allow myself to just communicate with lower spirits, right? And the same goes for, occasionally I like to smoke weed. I will not fucking do any readings while I am under any influence. And why is that? Because these plants, right? Every plant, tea is a plant medicine, right? So depending on what it is, they attract a certain vibration of spirits. It's not saying that they're bad or good, but I know for a fact, while channeling under certain influences, may feel like you're getting all this good juice, right, in the nooks and crannies, you are connecting with lower end spirits. And these spirits are fucking nosy also. And they gonna snitch too. They're gonna tell you all the business, right, and stuff like that. But they also latch. And they latch onto you, and they latch onto the person that you are connecting with. And then, it's just an energy that I don't allow myself to be open to share that with other people. There's a time and a place for everything, and that's where keeping up with your mental health is important, and being disciplined in your practice, right? I'm about to have pizza for breakfast. Good timing. I mean, hey, did you make the pizza yourself? Is it, I'm not judging you on what you want to eat. I'm actually in day 3 of a 40-day detox that I started myself with a client. I did a reading, and this reading was a wake-up call. And I was like, I've been frustrated with my acne, feeling like I'm going through puberty all over again. And in a way I am, right? Because I am recalibrating my cells. I am rejuvenating my body and building up its stamina, and building discipline with myself, and purging, right, these thought forms that are not serving me, and pushing myself to say, no, I have everything in me to create a balanced psyche, to create a balanced chakra system, to create a balance within myself, so that I don't fall victim to any either side of the polarity and staying there too long, right? When I look at the bipolar disorder that they had diagnosed me with, I look at that as an imbalance of hormones, right? Which is why I had a lot of hormonal issues that needed me to do the things that I did based on spirit. My spirit guided me to wound healing. My spirit guided me to doing meditations and mudras with my hands, and putting crystals in certain ways as a crystal grid, without me reading about any of this, right? so that I can regulate my hormonal system. In turn, as I was regulating and balancing my hormones, I was balancing out my mind, my psyche, and in turn taking care of my mental health. Right? I am making the pizza from scratch. Also got fruit as an appetizer. That sounds yummy. Yeah, you better decide what thought forms you're gonna align with before you smoke. Yes. I always say a prayer, setting an intention before I smoke. I choose to align with. Absolutely. So this is the thing, right? When I smoke with intention, right? It's not, but back then, oh, fuck that. I used to smoke just to smoke and have a good time because I'm like, bitch, got an oral fixation. I just like the vibration of sucking in that life of Mars and tobacco and grounding of the earth and connecting with all the elements and having it salivate with my saliva and blowing it out because I am a fucking magician, right? And just doing that, right? Just because I liked to. And it didn't necessarily mean that it was directive. Whereas now, even though that sounded very directed the way I said it, right? Because I can be so extra. But anyways, I'm trying to stay focused on a certain way because I'm definitely, So now when I do it not during readings. I do it for meditation to know which spirits I'm definitely going to connect with, etc. But I won't do it during a reading because at the same time, I know my spirits, but it is going to open up because it's in the energetic sphere. It is going to open up those realms for lower end spirits to come in, even if it's using them as a vessel because they can't use me as a vessel. And now I got to work 2 times harder to keep the energy in a certain frequency as opposed to let me just not have to put myself in the situation of having to energetically work harder because, oh my gosh, if you know anything about energy work will, it's a lot more work than it is just physical work or mental work, right? It's even mental work, right? That's where it comes from, a lot of it. And this is why when you're reading too much or researching too much or driving too much, even though you may not physically be doing a lot, your psyche is doing a lot energetically, so you get tired, right? And it's getting hot in this car too, so I'm just going to charge this upstairs. Let me just grab my stuff. Actually, I am going to make a celery juice, so y'all can watch me do all this good stuff as I talk about all this good stuff, right? Stay focused, stay disciplined, right? So that's why I do not do those things while I am gonna do a reading. And as stated, if I'm ever in the space where just my mental health is not the greatest, I won't go doing those things, right? So hello baby, let me just put y'all closer here. So every time I come in the house, take off the shoes, right? So that way any gunk or junk spirits stays outside. I do not welcome that into my home. And I walk with my home and I spray the entry with agua florida, right? To clear out anything that may have been in my aura. Right? To keep my mental health, my spiritual health, my physical health intact and in alignment, right? I just came from the gym. I am so hot. I smell like good chemistry burning, right? Oh, there we go. I can see your comments better. There we go. There is joy in the pathless woods. Oh, I love it. Yes. Hold on, let me read it. Yes, I love your honesty and love. Been rocking with you since 2007, and we're going to forever rock with each other. I lost my sense of taste and smell. I realized I was following hunger cues for the satisfaction of eating the food rather than being hungry. I'm connecting with food differently. Thank you, Norma, for going back on task as to where I was talking about the emotional eating, right? So, and the hugs and the cups, right? So plant medicine, that's where that came from, talking with the weed. But then also saying how I was emotionally eating. And so as I'm doing all my workouts and my meditations and all this good stuff, right, eating those processed foods, not saying there's anything wrong with eating it, but everything in moderation. And if I wasn't careful, that made me gain so much weight. Like 2020, I need, before I make this celery juice, I need some regular water. Because I am parched and y'all sitting here listening to dehydrated ass bitch. Oh, hold on one moment. I do keep, I need to treat our entry. I broke up with Atlanta. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Somebody, I don't need to be reading. See, all of these. The devil is in the details, right? Trying to distract, right? Saying, oh, how good can you focus? How disciplined are you? Can you stay on the topic? Can you stay on task? Or are you going to keep getting distracted by everything that I'm throwing in your way at the same time? Because ain't nobody was running my business before I started this live, right? That, by the way, is not how you take a normal sip, right? That was taking gulps. Because a sip, you go. You let it hit your lips and run it through to your gums and your teeth, right? And then it goes and it touches the different parts of your tongue. And then it slows down and it goes and you feel it coursing through your body, right? But I'm devouring this bitch right here. I love you. I love you. You are so prosperous and fortunate and kind to me. And I will love you as you nourish me and fill me with so much good energy that is going to keep me in higher vibration and awareness and opportunities just flowing in my life abundantly forever and always. All that nourishment. Oh, that activation, that electricity, that charge for that mental stamina, for that physical, emotional, that cleansing. Did you know one of the ways to mentally balance your psyche is through crying, right? So if we're going to talk about mental health and emotionally eating, or anything, right? Whatever it is that you do to distract yourself from dealing with what it is that you have to balance out, to clear out, right? Are you allowing yourself to cry? Did you know that tears have negative ions that balances out the psyche in a way to ground all the clutter, all the madness, all the debris and all of that stuff, right, that's in there. Because the mind is like, we're going like this, right? The head is here, but it's like so more vast, right? So allowing you to cleanse your universe through your tears. It's as if you were walking barefooted on the ground. It's as if hugging a tree. You are allowing for those negative ions to allow themselves to purge out and ground the mind to a space where the brain actually neutralizes whatever it needs to neutralize naturally to balance out your psyche naturally, which is why crying is very important. And this is why they say don't stop yourself from crying. If you feel like you need to cry, cry and let it out. That is actually a healing technique, a healing modality, a balance modality of your higher chakras, right? So the same as above, so below, right? So if you need to ground your crown chakra or your third eye chakra so that you can see better, right? Maybe you're not seeing clearly, or you have some fog going on there because you're not really allowing yourself to feel those emotions and let them out. And you're sitting here like, oh no, it's okay, I'll sit on a tree. And maybe for you, sitting on a tree is a distraction. It's not really allowing for you. And for some people, not saying this is for everyone, because the trees are going to do what they're going to do. The nature is going to speak to you the way that it needs to speak to you. Right? But sometimes it's that you're sitting on this tree and your emotions are coming up, and instead of you allowing for those emotions to come up and out of you, you're just sitting there and distracting yourself with all these other affirmations, and you're letting the tree, and you're saying, oh, I'm healed, I feel so much better, I did my grounding work with the tree, and you didn't fully fulfill the grounding work that you needed for the psyche. Your lower chakras got the healing that it needed, but your higher chakras didn't get the purge that they needed, because anything that purges from the up, so whether it's when it's vomiting, when it's crying, when it's blowing your nose, right? These are purges from your higher self. These are purges from your higher spirits, from the mental realm, right? The mental and spiritual realms, right? And then any purges that happens like urine or scat, right? That happens on the lower end. Those are more of the physical, emotional purges that needs to happen. Now, the emotional part, it kind of fluctuates between the higher and lower realms too, which is why it's important to make sure you're balancing everything out, right? So, I've cried for the past 2 nights out of frustration and feeling overwhelmed. It is cleansing. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, in doing that, right, I was being so hard on myself because I know that, they had given me these diagnoses, and sometimes, the ideations in my mind could be so real, right? And I'm like, those are, like as stated, those are the days that I'm not going to sit there and do an energetic reading or do any type of energy work with anybody else outside of me, because I'm not about to, I don't even be wanting to talk to people at those times, because I'm like, I gotta deal with me, right? But then there's times when it's so overwhelming that I'm like, I need to speak to somebody. And that's because, I haven't really done the grounding work or the work I needed to do for my own mental health, right? For my emotional health as well, for my hormones, right? I was like 2 hours at the gym, and that's something I haven't done in a long time. So I did an hour at the sauna, right? And I did that because I wanted to meditate. But I also wanted to purge. And if you followed me also for a while, I have spoken about the many benefits that you can get, not only physically, emotionally, but also mentally, about a sauna. And how it does just that, the heat and the purging through your pores, open it up, moving that energetic body, right? So I did an hour in there while I was chanting. There was nobody else in there. I was lucky, I always tend to get lucky when I go into the sauna, because I always put in my mind I'm gonna go into the sauna and ain't nobody gonna be in there, so I'm gonna be able to really get my meditation on. And the mind is a very powerful thing, which is why it's important to keep up with that mental health, right? So that you can keep up with your manifestations, right? So that you can make sure you're moving your energy and balancing yourself out accordingly, right? So I go and there's no one there. I'm doing my mudras, right? The mudras that I decided to do today was this one, right? And I actually just kept moving it up between the sacral, the solar plexus, and the heart, the anahata, just to keep myself in a meditative. That is a more connected to the sacral, right? But I wanted the fire, right? So the thumbs represent fire, right? And then these are the other elements, right? So just allowing them to connect with themselves wholly, while really allowing for my fire to ignite from the left side of my body and the right side of my body to be at center, right? And allowing for that energetic womb space energy to just come up. And then the other one that I did was like this, right? And again, so this is air, so we have fire and air, just directing it a bit more, right? Directing the energy a bit more and feeling that energy coursing through me. And as I'm doing this, of course, I did post about these as well. I don't want to go too deep into that because that's not what this is about. I'm just sharing with you. If you want the information, look on my page, or you can DM me, and I can share that information with you. I have absolutely no problem sharing information with anyone. If I have it to give, why not? Yeah, so I'm doing my mudras, and I'm breathing, doing my breathing. So I wasn't doing any like fast paced pranayama. It was just more deep relaxating breathing. Because I needed to do a bit of like grounding, right? I needed to do a bit of grounding because the way this whole CV thing has gotten society, and the way these energies are, Mars is doing his own thing, squaring. I mean, I'm in such an interesting space in my life, right, where I'm seeing all aspects of myself, and I'm dealing with these aspects of myself accordingly, right? So I'm not rushing myself to get through anything just because somebody else wants me to rush into their timeline. No, either we're going to be sharing this timeline or we not. Like, deuces if we have to deuce. That's fine. Cool. Go. Bye. Right? But if not, then let's work with each other's timing. It's okay. Like, your time is your time, my time is my time, your universe is, we all here to do what we came here to do, the way that we gonna do it. So that has been allowing me to be in a more healthier state of mind, right? But not only that, it's allowed for me to really be honest with where I'm at as well, right? Because then I noticed that sorry, I forgot I need to put this in the charger. Then I noticed that there's things in my life, right, that I may not necessarily be happy with. Give me a moment so I could grab this charger. There we go. Yeah, I'm a fairly private person, y'all. I don't be wanting y'all all up in my business, right? Unless I tell you my business. And if you know my business because somebody else done told you, man, y'all some nosy motherfuckers. Ain't nobody told y'all to tell my business. Then I be knowing who told my business because I know who I tell my business to. And y'all be getting caught out there. Yeah, I'm saying y'all in general. It's none of y'all that's really watching here. But for those of y'all that might be watching the replay, anyway. Yeah, so let me put this back here. That allowed for me to be honest with where it is that I am at in this timeline, right? Am I disciplined? Am I keeping myself disciplined, or am I using excuses, right, for my timeline? Oh, this is just, what I'm used to doing. This is just, how things are because of my environment. Or, like, oh, I'm just so tired. I had a lot. And I'm going to use yesterday as an example. I was so busy. I had maybe about, 2 hours of sleep the whole, 24 hours, right? I think it was more than that. Probably 48 hours, whatever. And I was really, 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 let me move you here. I'm just trying to find a good spot so I can start getting this celery going. Yeah, bear with me. I love how patient you are. See, patience is a virtue that shows how you deal with yourself, how you deal with others, your discipline level, right? So I'm doing a few projects going on, right? So my schedule is really busy. So busy that I shouldn't really be doing this live right now. But I said, I need to tend to my mental health, because as busy as I am, and I know that I have to be a bit more disciplined, I'm going to keep this short. I'm going to share this information, but I'm going to be honest and real with where I'm at. I was so tired that I did not get to stay up for a class that was extremely important for me, right? And I ended up I was ignoring so much of my thought forms, that like my old thought forms with bad patterns, bad habits, right? Because I was not feeding them. I was like, actually, I'm gonna take more. I was like, this is not, y'all are not gonna rule me. Like, I am the captain of this ship. I'm going to succeed. I'm going to fulfill my purpose. I'm going to do what it is necessary that I need to do to, get myself in the situation that I want to be in, etc., etc. So I'm doing, all my work. I'm staying disciplined, and I was just getting so tired. I didn't sleep. And my old habits thought it would be really funny, since they couldn't get me in my waking. They thought, let's get this bitch in her sleep. So I was getting like certain quote unquote nightmares, right? And when I woke up, I was like, damn, I was really confronting these thought forms in my sleep. I was confronting these thought forms in my sleep, telling them, you do not have a right to my psyche anymore. You do not have a right to be living in this mind of mine, in this brain of mine anymore. Unless it is that you are warning me or serving me for my highest and greatest good, so that I can utilize you for my benefit. Otherwise, you cannot just stay sheltered here. I don't have the time, the space, or the energy to feed you. And this was literally in my dream. Like, I was doing my work in my dream. And they were so bothered, right? These thought forms, they were really bothered. And when I woke up this morning, I was like, it's so funny. I was being so hard on myself, because I said, damn, I've been really busting my ass to do all my work and to get all my homework done, and to get these things going for what I have to get done, working on making sure that I'm eating the foods I need to eat again, so that my energy levels is up, right? So my body's purging all that junk, as I started with, right? All the processed foods, right? The junk. Oh my gosh. Oh, this still has a little bit of soap. And really, why do I feel, there we go. Oh my gosh, it's been such a while since I used this. I can't even figure my thing out. Right? This is all okay here. I'm like, why is it not going? The discipline. Ouch. The discipline, right? I was literally like, what do I want more? Do I want to serve my thought forms that are used to keeping me at a vibration that is dense, that is toxic, that is heavy, right? Or do I serve the new thought forms and patterns of behaviors that's working in my benefit? course I'm going to choose the thought forms that's working in my benefits, but it comes with tests, right? So every time we make these changes, we're going to be new level, new devil, right? There's going to be a test. And it's up to us to pass these tests. It's up to us to say, how disciplined are we to really overcoming these thought forms? How much do you really want to change, right? How much do you really want to change? How much do you really care about being in your power? How much do you really care about keeping up with your mental health? How much do you really want to be motivated in your drive? This is gonna get really loud. In your drive, to get where it is that you need to go. And I was so proud at my spirit for handling my thought forms even in my sleep, because that is how conscious I am to making my decisions. That is how determined I am to keeping my mental health in a state where it's going to work in my highest and greatest good, and balancing out my emotions, and balancing out my hormones, and balancing out my blood flow, and keeping my mind, body, and spirit in alignment with the timeline that I want to be in, right? So I can be in full trust and perfect love and perfect trust of my discernment, of my intuition, of my gifts, of the abilities that I have to not only motivate myself, but motivate others, right? Allowing for that discipline to really override those old habits, those old thought forms, right? And really speak to myself in the version of myself, right, that I am becoming, that I'm allowing myself to become, because I've always been her as well. She's always been in me. It was just a matter of activating her, of channeling her. And in order to channel her and activate her, I had to change my older habits, right? So that being said, I was like, this morning, I was like, yo, what do I want more? Do I want this or do I want that? What can I do differently? So I advise any of you that's watching this video to look at what your bad habits are. And then look at all your bad habits, and then look at all your good habits, and look at the things that you want to incorporate in your life. What is it that you want? And you look at those 3 lists, right? And with the bad habits, how can you override those bad habits? How can you tap into those new habits that you want? What can you start doing differently and apply them? As stated, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put myself to do a 40-day challenge for me to let go of the cheese. Because I don't really do dairy like that, but I do cheese. And I know every time I do cheese, my face breaks out. And cheese has so much highly addictive properties to them, right? And it's very dense, and it has a lot of high mucus. And the more mucus in the body, the harder it is to breathe, the more your cells have more work to do, etc., 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 right? So not to say that I can't eat these things indefinitely, or not to say that, I can't control myself. No, it's a matter of making sure that the psyche is balanced enough to say, yeah, I can function completely while I have this cheese and do this, that, and the third, right? But if I'm not in the emotional, if my physical and my mental is okay, but my emotional is not okay, what is it that I need to change in the emotional body? What needs to change in the emotional body so that it is balanced with the physical and mental? Or what is maybe is the emotional and mental is fine, but the physical is not really fine. So you got to balance all of it. And that's where the mental health is important. And let's say, if your mental health is not right, it's almost guaranteed that your emotional body and your physical body is not going to be okay either. So definitely allow yourself to keep up with your mental health. Read certain books. Start changing your vocabulary. Learn a new word a day, or embrace the chaos that's around you, right? By reacting in a different way, shifting your thoughts, right? And saying, I'm not going to let that madness that's happening around me stop me from my purpose, stop me from my message, stop me from my mission, right? I don't care what's going on externally around me. I got to get back to my mission. I got to be me. I got to do what I came here to do. And that discipline allows for you to be in a mentally healthy space as well. At least this has worked for me, right? So having these nightmares that I was having and checking these thought forms, right? I woke up this morning, I was like, yo, it's time for me to like not only just meditate, this is something that I do, but let me go to the sauna and meditate so I get this purge on here, and let me move my body. Let me work out in the gym, right? Let me do my yoga. Let me do the things that I know work in my favor for me, right? And that's a way for me to just energetically get this day started, right? Now it comes to the food. I'm gonna eat fucked up shit later, maybe not completely, because I am doing, like I said, I'm doing this 40-day challenge. And for me, the 40 days, what I'm doing is no rice, no bread, right? Because I do like my bread, I'm not gonna lie, and no cheese, right? So I'm like, I love queso, I love cheese, but does the cheese overpower me? Fuck that. I'm not gonna allow anything to have more control over me than I can of it. And the moment that I start seeing that I'm losing my power to something else is the moment when I got to get back to self. And that's going to be my recommendation for any of you. Whatever is going on in your life that makes you feel like it's taking you outside of yourself or has more power over you, get back to your source. Get back to source. Get back to source. Get back to self. How can you get back to source and get back to self? Well, you're going to have to get back to you to figure that out. Only you know about yourself better than anybody else. And if you feel like you don't know yourself and other people know you better, then you have already given away your power. You have already given more power to the external, and it's time to take that back. It is time to take that back. So that's really my message, is that I'm like, you know what? Nightmares? Nope. I'm going to do my workout. I'm going to eat. Now, the food, when I say I'm probably eat like fucked up shit, it's not so much the processed food. That's just me being silly. But if you want to go and eat a burger, you want to go eat a pizza, whatever, if your mental health is fine and your physical health is fine, eat your fucking burger, eat your pizza. You're good, you're balanced, right? You're healthy, you're able to, you're functioning, right? You're moving your body, your thoughts are in good, healthy. But if your thoughts are not okay, or your body's not functioning as properly, then that's when you really have to look, even your emotional body. How's your emotional body? Are you eating these things because you're really hungry? Are you thirsty? And that's a whole other thing, that a lot of the times that we're really more thirsty than we are hungry. Mental health, right? And so just getting acquainted with who you are and having that balance. At this point, I really feel like I'm repeating myself, and I do have so much I got to do. I did say I was going to keep this video short and simple. Hopefully, it's easy enough for you to understand where I'm coming from when I say, it's really important for you to get back to your mental health so that you can apply this to any area in your life. And, emotional body, physical body, and spiritual body, right? And the mind is really important for all of those bodies. So keeping your mind, your mental, your brain functioning, right? Being aware of what it is that you're watching, what you're digesting, not just food, right? But the words of others. Are you gossiping more than you're building community, or building, your vocabulary, or that mental stamina? Are you watching more TV? Which, hey, if you want to watch TV, whatever, but what are you watching? Are you watching things that's expanding your mind, or are you watching things that's just keeping you in a comfortable frequency, in a comfortable vibration that's not really making a big difference in changing your life, right? So that's my point of this video. I hope it helps anybody do the best version that they can to making sure that you're in awareness of where you're at in your mental health, and saying, you know what, even if I have depression, I can get through this depression. Because hey, yo, if I can get through depression, if I can get through depression and fighting those thoughts of, certain ideations, and saying, you know what, no, 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 this cannot be normal. I cannot stay this way forever. I don't want to be here, right? Nobody can change me. I have to do that myself. So what did I start doing? Not only did I start listening to my spirit, but I also started to surround myself by like-minded people that like to read books, people that like to work out, because I knew I didn't want to be like anyone else but myself. But I knew that I had to learn a way to fully express myself without having to feel like I hate the world or the world hates me. How can I get acquainted with myself and embrace what this world is, knowing that it is a prism and that I'm going to get myself the fuck up out of here? But how can I do it? I have to make sure that my consciousness is healthy enough to get me out of here so that I don't have to come back over here again, right? So practicing the discipline, learning the different ways. Maybe, maybe the way that I grew up knowing how to do things wasn't always the best way or the right way, and this person might have a different point of view. And you know what, I'm open to expanding my mind and stretching that out a little bit. If I know that I get, really high depressing energies by just, laying in bed all day, well, then let me go for a walk. Do something different. If you know that you go to a certain space that gets you anxiety, this is two things, right? And it fucks with me. Yo, one of the ways is, while you're healing in your healing journey, stay away from those things that make you anxious. Learn what your triggers are. What makes you anxious, and why are you anxious, and where does that anxiety come rooted from, so that when you get to the root, you're able to deal with that. And once you start dealing with those triggers, if you find yourself in a space where you're getting anxious again, rather than allowing for that anxiety to overpower you, how can you now take that anxiety and transmute it and transform it into something else? And that takes you to have a mental health that is serving you. Transmutation, The Alchemist. Okay, I highly suggest that y'all read that book, The Alchemist, if you haven't read it. It may feel very simple, but it's multi-layered depending where you're at in your psyche and how able to grasp that message, for sure. So that's what I'm gonna say. I no longer take those medications. It's been years. It's been over 5 years since I take any medications. I don't even like to take Advil or Tylenols. I don't do any of that. The way that I like to treat myself is, allowing myself to communicate with my friends. I do therapy every so often, just to make sure that, the healer needs healing too. So, it's yoga therapy. Right, there's yoga therapists out there, and some people don't even know that exists, right? So yoga is on and off of the mat in different ways, and it's not just a workout, it's a whole way of living. And so, practicing different philosophies, getting acquainted with just different ways of living, right, has really shifted me. And also, what were the habits that were no longer serving me. And so I barely smoke any weed now. I do occasionally when I'm in the mood to, and a lot of the times it's at night after all my work is done and everything like that. And it's something that I don't even need, versus like I felt like I couldn't go a day without it, and so, getting acquainted with yourself and learning different techniques really does stretch you to your limits, and teaches you about discipline, and teaches you about your own power and ability to overcome things. And it's not easy, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it's very possible. This is why I do the one-on-one mentorings that I do, and they work as well, because not only am I teaching you something that's going to help you, but I either do it with you as well, or this has already worked for me. I don't give y'all anything that I don't put myself through or that I haven't put myself through. I love you all. I hope this benefits anybody. If you would like to reach out to me, angelicsoul11@icloud.com, or you can reach me at the DM, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace.